Welcome to Thursday. It's July 13th, 2021. Welcome to the Day Weather Podcast. Well, we're going to have severe weather possible in some areas today. This will be especially true for parts of Wyoming, Nebraska, and South Dakota, and parts of Montana, and maybe northeast Colorado. We'll talk about that in detail. We have a front coming in out of Montana and northern Wyoming that will trigger severe thunderstorms. It's going to happen later in the day, and some of it could happen tonight. Large hail and strong wind threat without a doubt with this pattern, and we'll show you the areas where we're concerned. Now, it's going to be a little bit cooler behind this front, so everybody go enjoy a little bit of a cooler day tomorrow. And then typical summer weather is the best way to describe it. Thursday through the weekend, less thunderstorm activity as a resurgence of high pressure builds across the interior west during that time frame. There's going to be a brief period of hot conditions returning the parts of the southern and northern Rockies this weekend through the middle of next week. I see another period of heat. Now, this will be especially true for Montana, south central areas of Canada, but after that, we see the monsoon pattern to increase mid to late next week. We're quite intrigued by what we're observing in some of our long-range forecast charts when it comes to the monsoon weather pattern. So we're going to do something here where we like to do sometimes in this podcast, which is stick our neck out, kind of push the envelope a little bit, and give you a longer range forecast into July and into early August in regards to this monsoon pattern and what could happen. So we'll talk about that. First of all, here's today's setup. We have high pressure over the desert southwest and this little trough. It's a little low pressure system, and there's a cool front right here with it. It's going to come down like this later today and tonight. This is not unlike what happened last Friday. Now, for some of you, last Friday was quite bad with the hail and the severe weather in parts of western Nebraska, especially around Alliance and many areas of Nebraska. We're going to have a repeat performance, and that's why we're going to see severe weather again and something to watch out for. This is the forecast for precipitation over the next 36 hours. Wherever you see green and blue and also those yellow, darker colors up here, this is where that higher risk of severe weather is going to be. However, as I'll show you in a minute, it doesn't mean in areas north or south of this area or east or west of the area there won't be severe weather, but this is where the highest probability is going to be. And you can see elsewhere, showers and thunderstorms are going to be developing today. Subtropical moisture still down here. Look at the Sierras. Might get some rain. Let's hope. Let's hope there aren't any more thunderstorms that start fires. But that is a concern today because along and west of the divide right here, there's going to be a fair amount of thunderstorm activity that produces lightning and not a lot of rain. So that is going to be a concern here over the next 24 hours. When we take a look at the severe weather threat, notice the yellow area there. That's the highest risk of severe weather. But that darker shade of green where it says MRGL, that means marginal threat. I hate the word marginal threat for severe weather because it's not marginal if it's severe, but that's how they like to do things. As you see right here, we've got this enhanced area of severe weather. You don't have to be under this yellow to experience the severe weather. Actually, the severe weather threat is going to be along in this darker green shaded areas here. And there's the right setup, much like what we had late last Friday, where some of these thunderstorms will tap into cold, dry air aloft, which could then help form large hail. The I-90 corridor of Wyoming and southern Montana and western South Dakota, that I-90 corridor, put your car in the garage, put the boat in the garage. This is one of those situations where if a thunderstorm comes over you, you are going to get hailed on, and it could be large. So Rapid City, Gillette, Newcastle, Upton, Sundance, down into the Lusk area, Alliance again, Chadron, Hot Springs, South Dakota, watch out. But also Casper, Cheyenne, maybe the Front Range of Colorado, this area here, there's that risk of large hail. So watch out for that. And here it is. If you were to look at the highest probability of large hail, it's going to be right here in northeastern Wyoming, southern Montana. But also you can see this other area that's shading where that hail risk is there. In addition to the hail risk, there could be some very strong wind gusts. Late last Friday night, some of those thunderstorms in western Nebraska produced wind gusts of nearly 90 miles an hour. So it's the real McCoy. Keep your eyes on the skies later this evening and late this afternoon. Now, going forward, we're going to have what we're going to be looking at, a resurgence of heat. We're going to see high pressure building right over Colorado this weekend. Due to this system right here, we're going to have a large low off the coast of British Columbia, and the winds aloft help build and pump up this ridge of high pressure here. So what will happen is, when you have a high pressure ridge, you tend to have the hottest conditions right on the north end of the ridge right here. So what's going to happen is it's going to heat up this weekend across Alberta, portions of Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Montana, the Dakotas, central and northern Wyoming, Idaho again. That's where you're going to see the hottest temperatures relative to average. And this dome of heat and high pressure will develop this weekend and will probably have some staying power till about Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. We're still expecting showers and thunderstorms, but that's really where the heat's going to build. So this is Sunday, and this is for late Monday and the Tuesday. So you can see it bulging and growing and intensifying. So we're going to have this cool front. We're going to have some showers and thunderstorms and severe weather. Then we're going to have some heat build. However, after that time frame, this is where it gets really interesting. Now, this is by late next week. This is by next Friday, the 23rd of July. We've been talking about that July 20th. After that July 20th time frame is when things change, and we're still sticking to that. But when it really sets up, that blue arrow I placed on the map there shows the door wide open for subtropical moisture to move in. And for those of you that watched our North American monsoon video on YouTube, it's really important for the monsoon to be the strongest and the deepest. You need your high pressure ridge in the Central Plains with the clockwise flow around that really opening the door to the deepest subtropical moisture. So we're going to be looking at the second half of next week, the weekend of the 24th of July, and there forward into early August. That's where we see that real potential for the monsoon to come into the western United States. Now, it shows it on the computer models, but computer models aren't reality. Computer models are just a tool. But we like what we're seeing. This is something that did not happen last summer, this type of setup. And if we show you the precipitable water, this is by Wednesday of next week. And you can see we've got all this blue here. When you're talking about seeing this blue shading, that means you're looking at 200% of normal water vapor in the air, which basically means there's a lot more water in the air than normally for this date that it's showing. And again, this doesn't show where it's going to rain or if you're going to get all rain underneath where you see the blue and the green, but that shows you where the potential is. And what I think is really interesting, and I think this is how this is likely going to play out. Notice this wedge of dry air just along and east of the divide and into the central and northern plains contrasts with this very moist air over the desert southwest and areas west of the divide. So really you've got kind of a dipole situation here with the really dry air east of the divide, really moist air west of the divide. That's by Wednesday of next week. So you're likely going to see this plume of moisture later this weekend and early next week bring showers and thunderstorms, especially in areas there that are in the blue. While along the Front Range and east of the divide, we may go through early next week with just hot, dry conditions. But going forward, by late next week, notice we start to see that blue and the green push more along towards and near the divide, still stay back over California, Nevada, and Utah, and Idaho. And then, as we go all the way out to July 27th, the deeper blue then and the greens, well, it gets both sides of the divide. And this is when the monsoon may get really going both sides of the divide. There could be some really good news here for western slope areas of Wyoming, western slope areas of Colorado. I'm talking Grand Junction, Durango, Montrose, Paona, Fruita, Jackson, Yellowstone Park, possibly Boise, certainly eastern Idaho, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas, and even, look at this, look at the Sierra Nevada, possibly getting into this subtropical moisture. If you look at the forecast for precipitation over the next 10 days, you can see there's a lot of it in Arizona, New Mexico, southwest Colorado, getting into the southern areas of Utah, back into Nevada, back into the Sierra Nevada here. This is through Friday. And we told you earlier, we think that the first half of next week will be hotter and drier in many areas east of the divide. But look what happens if we were to push this forecast out 2 weeks. Look at that moisture surging northward, deeper moisture getting into parts of the Sierra Nevada, even into the Snake River Valley of Idaho, up into Yellowstone, then all the way through here, Arizona, New Mexico. Look at the mountains of Colorado. Look at southern and southwestern Wyoming. You know, these areas right here that are extremely dry, really, really dry in this area right here, and then up into Montana as well. But, you know, this is a very impressive looking pattern, and this is going to be that last week of July into the first couple of days of August. So we'll keep you updated on what will transpire, but this is the best looking monsoon setup we've seen in quite a while. It could go south of us, it could change, but right now we continue to see it, and we'll keep an eye on it for you. Have yourself a great Tuesday. We'll see you on Hump Day Wednesday.